On the scene of one of the most high-profile rapper assassinations in history. If you're thinking someone should really make a documentary about his life.
In hip-hop, there's always been a short list of people you just don't mess with, and right at the top of that list sits 50 Cent. Some rappers like to keep their drama quiet, sneak disses in songs, settle things in private, maybe post a cryptic line or two. But 50? Nah, he does things loud, bold, and in your face. When he's got a problem with someone, the whole world knows about it. He doesn't just start beef, he lives it. Every feud turns into a spectacle, and every word out of his mouth makes headlines. From day one, 50 has been a walking storm of controversy. He's not scared of confrontation, he feeds off it. When most artists back down, he steps right up, ready to fight with words, actions, and strategy. Every beef he's ever touched has turned into must-see entertainment. He knows how to control the spotlight, and he's made a career out of turning drama into dominance. And of course, the one feud that defined his legacy forever, the legendary war between 50 Cent and Ja Rule. That wasn't just rap beef, that was a full-blown career demolition.
I can't say that I can resolve a situation or a beef with somebody that I can't stand this nigga. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this ain't WWF. It's not like I just got rap beef with this nigga. I don't like this little.
When 50 came for Ja Rule, it wasn't a battle. It was an execution. He didn't just win, he ended Ja's run completely. The feud was so intense that the term getting Ja ruled became slang for getting your entire career crushed. When a rapper gets lyrically wiped out and can't recover, fans still say, he got Ja ruled. That's how powerful 50's impact was. He didn't just defeat an opponent, he changed hip-hop language forever. But it doesn't stop there. 50 Cent's fearlessness has no limits. He's gone at everyone from music rivals to business partners, and even his own family. When things fell apart between him and his son, Marquise Jackson, 50 took it public with zero hesitation. He called him a crybaby bum and accused him of wanting handouts instead of earning respect. The internet exploded over that one, because most people would never drag family drama out in front of millions. But 50, he doesn't hold back for anybody. When he's angry, no one's off limits. And now, years later, 50 might have just fired off his most explosive shots yet, aimed straight at one of the most powerful men in music history, Sean "Diddy" Combs. Once upon a time, Diddy was seen as untouchable, the king of the shiny suits, luxury parties, and business empires. But lately, everything's flipped upside down. His name's been surrounded by accusations, lawsuits, and wild stories that keep surfacing one after another. His once golden image is crumbling fast, and you better believe 50's been watching it all unfold. He's been patient, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And now, with Diddy's reputation in shambles, 50's stepping in and turning this downfall into one of the biggest sagas hip-hop has ever seen. When 50 goes to war, he doesn't just fight. He creates a storyline that the whole world can't stop watching. What's happening with Diddy right now has completely flipped the industry on its head. The man who once stood as a symbol of success and power, the flashy suits, the private jets, the endless parties, is now standing in the middle of chaos. His once spotless image has cracked wide open, and the shine that used to follow him everywhere is fading fast. For years, Diddy was that guy everyone wanted to be, business mogul, hitmaker, and party king. But now, the name Diddy brings up scandal before it brings up music. With story after story surfacing, it's like his entire empire's been shaken to its core. And through it all, there's one man who's been waiting for this exact moment, 50 Cent. 50's been sitting back watching every headline, every rumor, every accusation, and now he's turning Diddy's downfall into a full-blown documentary event. The new 4-part Netflix series, Sean Combs: The Reckoning, is the latest bombshell that has the internet talking nonstop. It's being called one of the most damaging exposés in modern music. And guess who's the executive producer? Yup, 50 himself.
Appreciate life, and it made me want to do things for the greater good.
It all goes back to one point. So I have a dream. A lot of times people see your dreams, they crazy.
What's the odds that you would do that in front of the camera? That's one of the moments where he forgot he was on tape. If I didn't say anything, you would interpret it as...
This doc isn't just another gossip project, it's personal. It's put together like a masterpiece, breaking down every chapter of Diddy's life and legacy, from his glory days to the chaos surrounding him now. It doesn't hold back. It connects the dots between old scandals, broken friendships, and shocking claims that paint a completely different picture of who Diddy really is. People are calling it one of the most powerful documentaries in years. The editing, the storytelling, the revelations. It's gripping from start to finish. Viewers are saying it doesn't just expose the man, it exposes the machine behind him, the fame, the power plays, the cover-ups. And knowing that 50 Cent helped bring it to life makes it hit even harder. It's not just entertainment, it's payback. Before this documentary, there were already interviews, podcasts, and YouTube series trying to break down Diddy's downfall, but none of them hit like this. None had the insider perspective, or that 50 Cent level pettiness mixed with precision. It's got that signature energy, sharp, savage, and impossible to ignore. But before diving into the Netflix saga, it's important to rewind the story, way back to where this feud between 50 Cent and Diddy really began. This ain't some new age rivalry. It's been brewing since the late 90s, before 50 even became a global name. Back when he was still a hungry rapper on the come-up, 50 made it clear he wasn't scared of anybody, not even music's biggest mogul. That bold attitude set the stage for decades of tension. What started as a simple jab in a song would grow into a feud that would last a lifetime, one fueled by competition, ego, and power. And believe it or not, 50's first shot at Diddy came before he was even famous. To really understand how this war between 50 Cent and Diddy started, you gotta go back to the late 90s, when 50 was still on the come-up, raw and fearless. From day one, he came into the rap game ready for battle. His breakout track, How to Rob, in 1999 wasn't just a song, it was a declaration of war on the entire industry. In that track, 50 didn't care who got offended. He name-dropped Jay-Z, Nas, Big Pun, Mace, and even Diddy himself. He was telling the world, I'm not scared of none of y'all. How to Rob was bold, disrespectful, and hilarious all at once. But more than anything, it showed that 50 wasn't playing games. It was his way of saying, I'm here to shake things up. That record made a lot of powerful people uncomfortable, and some flat out mad. But for 50, that was the point. He didn't care about fitting in. He cared about making noise. And then came the moment that would define his life forever, the infamous day he was shot 9 times and somehow survived. That single event turned him from a hungry street rapper into a living legend. The world watched in disbelief as this man who was supposed to die came back stronger, harder, and more determined than ever. The shooting didn't just change his life, it changed his voice, his mindset, and his music. That deep, gritty tone fans recognize today, that came from surviving something most people wouldn't walk away from. It made him more than a rapper. It made him a symbol of survival. From that day on, 50 wasn't just an artist. He was a force. By the early 2000s, 50 finally crossed paths with Diddy, and that's when things got interesting. According to 50, he actually did ghostwriting work for Diddy early on, helping write lines and hooks that later made their way into Puff's music. And this wasn't just some rumor. Former Bad Boy and Def Jam rapper Shine backed up 50's story, confirming that the connection was real. Before all the shade and shots, there was a creative link between them, a strange bit of history that fans didn't know for years. But that early relationship didn't stay peaceful for long. When money, pride, and power mix in hip-hop, things never stay calm. The moment 50 started blowing up, Diddy's cool attitude turned into competition, and eventually rivalry. Back then, nobody could have guessed this casual industry connection would turn into one of the most personal, savage feuds in rap history. But that's exactly what happened. These two went from trading lyrics to trading jabs for decades, each one trying to prove who really ran the game. 50's energy was raw and unstoppable. He wasn't in it to make friends, he was in it to dominate. And when Diddy realized that, the tension between them turned from quiet industry rivalry to a cold war that's still burning years later. Now this is where things start getting real messy. The early 2000s were a wild time for hip-hop, and the tension between 50 Cent and Diddy started turning into something personal. What started as playful shots slowly began to sound more like real smoke. It all kicked off when Shine, the same rapper who backed 50's ghostwriting claims, got caught up in his own feud with 50 later on, calling him a federal informant. That twist added another strange layer to the story, and suddenly everyone was watching to see who'd fire back next. But before that drama popped off, 50 had already dropped some slick lines that got people talking. He claimed he'd written Diddy's verse for Let's Get It, a track that dropped under Bad Boy Records. Then, on his Guess Who's Back mixtape, 50 hit fans with a sneaky bar that made the industry stop and rewind. Hoes be like, "Fitty, you so witty on the D," like they heard I ghostwrite for P. Diddy. That was straight up confirmation that the ghostwriting rumors were true, and 50 was loving every second of the chaos it caused. But he didn't stop there. Later that same year, 50 dropped another shot at Puff on the Bad Boys 2 soundtrack, the same project that Diddy himself produced. He rapped, "I run the city and I don't dance around like Diddy." That was a jab wrapped in confidence, mocking Diddy's signature flashy style and reminding everyone that 50 was too street to play those shiny suit games. At that point, the tension was still halfway playful, more like friendly competition than full-on beef. But that all changed when 50 started noticing weird behavior from Diddy. According to 50, there was this one moment that stuck with him forever. Early in his career, Diddy supposedly offered to take him shopping, and it made 50 stop in his tracks. He said it felt like something a man would do for a woman he was trying to impress, not for another rapper he barely knew. 50 later joked about the whole thing, saying it was like Diddy was testing the waters, dipping his toes in the baby oil, as he put it. It was his way of clowning Diddy while also hinting that there was something off about that offer. The story spread like wildfire, with fans and media eating it up. It added to Diddy's growing reputation for being unpredictable and a little too friendly in ways that had people side-eyeing him. When the rumors started making noise, Diddy tried to play it cool. He didn't snap back, didn't show anger, just brushed it off with humor and swagger like it was nothing. But that reaction only made people more suspicious, because when it comes to 50 Cent, brushing things off never works. It just gives him more room to push buttons. That shopping trip story became one of those moments fans never forgot. A weird chapter that helped turn lighthearted rivalry into a real feud. And from there, things between 50 and Diddy were never the same again. By the mid-2000s, 50 Cent wasn't just running hip-hop, he was running the world. Every chart, every headline, every award show, his name was front and center. He had become a global icon, dropping hit after hit, stacking millions, and expanding into movies, fashion, and business deals like it was nothing. At this point, he wasn't just a rapper, he was a brand, and the world couldn't get enough of him. He had 7 #1 singles and over 20 top 10 hits, proving his dominance in every corner of the game. But it wasn't just about music. 50 was building an empire. He launched G-Unit Records, created a successful clothing line, and made huge investments that paid off big. His legendary deal with Vitamin Water alone made him tens of millions. Every move showed how sharp his business mind was. He wasn't just playing the rap game, he was owning it. That's what made him so different. While most artists were focused on chasing hits, 50 was chasing ownership and power. His only real competition at that level was Eminem, who shared that same mix of drive and fearlessness. Together, they became one of the most unstoppable duos in hip-hop history. But that kind of success always attracts envy. And that's where Diddy comes back into the picture. Because for all his fame, power, and influence, Diddy couldn't stand the idea that someone like 50, younger, tougher, and rawer, had taken over the culture in a way he never could. See, Diddy had always been the flashy mogul, the businessman in designer suits, the face of luxury and status. But 50 had what money couldn't buy: authentic street power. He had the respect of the streets and the love of the mainstream. When he walked in a room, you felt it. He didn't need to say a word. The energy said everything. That kind of natural dominance can't be faked. And for a man like Diddy, who'd built his image on control and influence, that had to sting. Watching 50 become everything he wanted to be must have lit a fire of quiet resentment. You could feel it in the air. That silent tension between two titans who couldn't exist in the same space without clashing. And while 50 was rising higher every year, Diddy was busy trying to protect his legacy, holding on to that king of the game status. But deep down, people could tell the crown had already shifted. By the time 2005 rolled around, 50 wasn't just a rapper or a businessman. He was the blueprint. Rappers wanted to sign with him, fans wanted to be him, and even corporate execs wanted a piece of his power. That's when the real competition between him and Diddy started to take shape. The kind that went beyond music and into every corner of business, fame, and influence.
Know what it feels like to have nothing, all right? And have to rebuild my life over $6,700 a month.
He's been trained to believe what you seen him say in that interview when I said that he's entitled. Really, it's his mom's entitlement. It's been filtered.
This was no longer just about who could drop the biggest hit. It was about who really ran the culture. And when pride, power, and ego are all in the mix, you know it's only a matter of time before things explode. By 2005, the tension between 50 Cent and Diddy wasn't just talk anymore. It was turning into a full-blown power struggle. 50 was running things on all fronts. Music, business, endorsements, everything he touched turned to gold. Meanwhile, Diddy was doing everything he could to keep his own legacy polished and untouchable. But behind the smiles and red carpet photos, you could feel the competition boiling over. The moment that really showed how deep the tension ran came during an interview 50 did on the Howard Stern show, where he dropped a wild story about Mace, one of Diddy's artists under Bad Boy Records. According to 50, Mace was ready to leave Bad Boy and sign to G-Unit Records, which would have been huge. But just as the deal was about to go down, Diddy stepped in and demanded a whopping $2 million to release Mace from his contract. That move instantly killed the deal, and 50 never forgot it. It became yet another example of Diddy blocking others from shining unless it benefited him directly. After that, things got dark, fast. The gloves came off completely. 50 stopped being playful and went straight for the jugular, making one of the boldest accusations ever heard in hip-hop. He publicly linked Diddy to the murder of the notorious B.I.G. That claim sent shockwaves through the culture. People were stunned, not just because of what he said, but because deep down, some had already been whispering about that same rumor for years. The crazy part? There were stories floating around that maybe Diddy and Biggie weren't as close as everyone believed. From the outside, they looked like brothers. But behind the scenes, things were allegedly more complicated. So when 50 dropped that accusation, it added fuel to every conspiracy theory out there. Suddenly, fans were questioning everything they thought they knew about Bad Boy's past. Then in 2006, 50 dropped his track The Bomb, a reminder that he was still the most fearless voice in the game. The record was loaded with his trademark fire, aggressive lyrics, sharp energy, and the confidence of a man who knew his words could shake an entire industry.
LELS challenge for you, Floyd. If you can read one full page of a Harry Potter book, nigga, I'll give $750,000 to whatever charitable organization you want to. The bucket of ice, man.
But what really got people talking was the outro, that mysterious ending that sounded more like a message than music. Every fan listening knew exactly who those subliminal shots were aimed at. By that point, 50 had made it clear he wanted nothing to do with Diddy. No business, no music, no friendship. He distanced himself completely, mocking Diddy's every move and accusing him of strange behavior long before anyone else dared to say a word. And when 50 takes aim at someone, he doesn't stop. The feud spilled over into business too. Both men launched their own vodka brands, turning their rivalry into a literal competition at the bar. Diddy had Ciroc, his luxury grape-based vodka, while 50 came out swinging with effin' vodka, and the trolling was non-stop. 50 started calling Ciroc puffy juice, clowning Diddy online, saying his drink was for posers while effin' was the real deal. Fans loved it. The jokes went viral instantly, and every time 50 cracked another line, the internet lit up. Diddy might have had the bigger brand, but 50 had the louder voice, and he made sure everyone heard it. By now, it was clear. This feud wasn't dying down anytime soon. It had evolved beyond diss tracks and business. This was personal, and 50 was just getting started. By the time things hit this level, it wasn't about business anymore. It was personal. What started as a playful rivalry had now turned into a deep emotional feud that mixed music, money, and family drama all at once. And in true 50 Cent fashion, he didn't just sit back and watch. He made sure the whole world knew exactly what was going on. The tension hit another level when 50's ex-girlfriend, Daphne Joy, who also happens to be the mother of his youngest son, Sire Jackson, started being seen publicly with Diddy. Photos of them on luxury getaways flooded social media, and fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. Diddy and 50 had already been enemies for years, so this was like salt in an old wound. At first, 50 tried to play it cool online, but you could tell it bothered him. He posted a photo of Diddy and Daphne together with the caption, "Nah, me and Puff fight over business. If he liked the girl, he liked the girl. I don't care." But the sarcasm was clear. He definitely cared. Then 50 doubled down with another post, this time a picture of him and his son joking, "Oh snap, that's your mommy over there with Puffy. These women be wild." It was pure trolling. Funny on the surface, but underneath, you could feel the sting. That's when things got real ugly. As Diddy's scandals started stacking up, with lawsuits and wild accusations dropping left and right, 50 went into full attack mode. When reports hit that music producer Rodney Jones had filed a lawsuit against Diddy with shocking claims about alleged trafficking, things got messy fast. Daphne Joy's name was even mentioned in those documents, though she immediately denied any wrongdoing. Still, 50 didn't waste a second turning it into content. He hopped online and unleashed a wave of posts that went viral instantly. In one, he wrote, "I didn't know you was a sex worker, LOL. Your life's a movie. You moved a mile away hoping to have another baby with me, but I was busy, so you went back to brother love. It was ruthless, funny, and messy. Classic 50. He even threw more jabs on stage during his performances, making sure Diddy's name stayed in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. But 50 wasn't just trolling. He was moving smart too. He took things to court, filing for full custody of his son, claiming that Daphne's alleged connection to Diddy created an unsafe environment. Daphne fired back hard, denying everything and accusing 50 of twisting the story for clout. The back and forth got heated, and soon the whole internet was watching what felt like a soap opera playing out in real time. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, 50 was working on his biggest move yet, the Netflix documentary Sean Combs' The Reckoning. He wasn't just producing it, he was leading it like a general in a war. He tracked down insiders, connected producers with sources, and helped expose years of alleged manipulation and power moves tied to Diddy's empire. At this point, it wasn't about jokes anymore. It was about revenge and exposure. 50 wasn't just clowning Diddy for entertainment. He wanted the world to finally see what he'd been hinting at for years. The feud that started with a diss had now become a mission, and 50 was making sure there was no way back for Diddy this time.